A gorgeous night for soccer in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tonight, the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Oklahoma Sooners play their first match in the month of October. This is when we get into the second half of SEC play. Some intensity coming up between the Sooners and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And we're glad to welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Roger Hoover alongside former Crimson Tide captain Haley McDonald. And Haley, this is a pivotal point of the season. Two talented teams in Oklahoma and Alabama really needing a win.
Yeah, they both want to rebound from a tough loss on the weekend. Two teams that are physical, they can play fast soccer, and they both can score. So it should be a great matchup tonight.
And two teams as well, they got off to a great start in non-conference play for the Crimson Tide. It all began with a very challenging schedule.
Oh, it certainly did. And, you know, you're seeing the play here. This was a 1-1 draw against Duke. And from that moment, Alabama sort of shifted into a different gear. They had some great competition, they challenged themselves, and they went on the road quite a bit.
For the Crimson Tide, 2 wins, 2 losses, notably a win against Texas, kind of a heartbreaker last time out against Kentucky.
Yeah, it was really tough because they put together some solid performances both on the road and home, and so Alabama really wants to put the mark on it as they head into the second half of October. Some
really tight matches for the Crimson Tide, including that 2-1 defeat last time out against Kentucky. Meanwhile, for the Crimson Tide, there are, again, 3 players that really lead the way at the top in terms of scoring, goals, and assists.
Yeah.
Gianna Paul, Nadia Ramadan, Larkin Thomas.
Yeah, and they work so well together, Roger. So you're going to see some magic tonight, hopefully under this beautiful sky.
Meanwhile, for Oklahoma, also a great start to the season, a dominant stretch, best start in program history for the Sooners.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, they didn't have quite the strength of schedule that I think Alabama had, but they did have this marquee win over Oklahoma State, and so that was a great job done by the Sooners, but they've really struggled as they've started SEC play.
Also a loss to Kentucky on Oklahoma's resume so far in SEC play. 1 win against Florida, but then tough losses the last 2 times out against Vanderbilt and then last time out South Carolina.
Yeah, they've got to get better in the box, and they're going to look at these 2 players here. Naomi Clark, who will not be getting the start tonight, and then Kayla Kiefer. They need them to combine and really find some magic on the pitch tonight.
We'll look forward to seeing what the Sooners have in store tonight. Again, Naomi Clark, will we see her in this match? We will see. Kayla Kiefer for Oklahoma, Gianna Paul ready to go here in Tuscaloosa. Score 4 goals on the year, but leading the SEC, 8th in the nation with 8 assists.
Yeah, she's pretty fantastic. Excited to watch her play tonight. We'll see how she works with Juliet Rayo there for Oklahoma.
And then keep an eye out for Gianna Paul, always for Alabama.
Always, and watch her combine with Larkin Thomason up front. It is pretty special.
Gianna Paul leading the way with 7 goals for the Crimson Tide, only 3 points away from having the Alabama points record. She already has the career goals record at 35 during her time in Tuscaloosa. Crimson Tide and the Sooners on this first Thursday in October. And away we go. Oklahoma in the road gray kits, Alabama in the home white on this Thursday night. Crimson Tide getting organized from the back with Olivia Belcher. Larkin Thomason trying to turn things around along with Isabel Smith. Going out wide to the right side, Cundy. Sharp putting the pressure on early in this first minute for Alabama.
Well, and this is something that Alabama did not do against Kentucky. You know, Coach Hart was looking for them to play with some energy and intensity, and Alabama has come out flying.
Corner kick for the Crimson Tide. Set up by Paige Thompson, getting the start tonight, the talented freshman from Walnut Creek, California. Early Alabama opportunity. And first by Oklahoma. Thomason through traffic, connecting with Kennedy Garcia. Gianna Paul, first touch of the night. Works it back to Belcher. Ball crossing back just off the head of Thomason. What an early opportunity for the Tide.
Those two have great chemistry together. We've seen it before, and so Thomason getting the start tonight was a very deliberate tactic by Coach Hart. He wants those two together on the field, and you can see why. Gianna Paul's so dynamic, whether she's playing in the middle or coming wide, but that service into the box with Larkin is fantastic. A great start for Alabama.
First 5 minutes of the match, we always take a look at Haley McDonald's Nuggets for this match. First of all, for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, for the Crimson Tide. So I mentioned it earlier. They've got to play with energy and intensity. That was something that was missing against Kentucky, and so we've seen it already. And then getting to those wide channels and getting good quality service into the box, like we just saw, I think those are going to be the keys for Alabama's success tonight.
Certainly an energetic first 3 minutes. Alabama already with one shot, one corner kick into the match against Oklahoma. Belcher chasing it down right up against Alexis Washington. Sooners with an opportunity to get it organized. But right there, Paige Thompson. Shell Pack working it out. Hadley Morrell. Connections for Oklahoma.
I was just thinking, I was like, they're doing a really good job of keeping the ball and being selective.
So we saw the Nuggets for the Crimson Tide. How about for the Sooners?
Yeah, so, you know, for the Sooners tonight, they've got to stay organized defensively and play compact. They know Alabama is a team that loves to throw numbers forward, so they can't get pulled out of space. And conversely, on that flip side, when they can go forward on that counterattack and exploit Bama with numbers down in their defensive end, they've got to go for it.
Sooners moving too fast, offside.
You know, the Sooners, they've got some great speed. They've got really physical players that can, you know, be a handful for Alabama. So we've seen Alabama not handle the business in the 18-yard box in that defensive third of theirs. And if they don't do that tonight, Oklahoma is going to take advantage of that.
Played the first 5 minutes so far in Tuscaloosa. It's all the way back to Crimson Tide keeper Maddie Munguia. Kylie Kukan trying to stress the Oklahoma defense. Have to throw in the attacking third. Crimson Tide led by Wes Hart. Years ago took Alabama to the College Cup, won the SEC championship, en route to SEC Coach of the Year honors in 2022. Trying to make sure he gets Alabama back to the NCAA tournament this season.
And I think they might have a combination of players that can do it. The more that they get into SEC play, I'm really liking the looks. I love what Coach Hart has done tonight with some of the substitutions and working different players into rotation. This is a really exciting team, and you know, the second half of the season should be a nail biter for sure.
Pressure in the box from Alabama. Right there, Leah Cundy crossing it back. Here's Thomason, turns it around, and the save by Caroline Duffy.
Well, and Caroline Duffy is as solid as they come in terms of a goalkeeper. So Alabama did a good job to rework this ball around. Leah Cundy in the lineup, getting her start, only back from injury for the last 3 games. And Larkin Thomason, just such a force to be reckoned with. But you've got one person that's in front of you, and that's going to be Duffy. And, you know, she's got such great hands, not afraid to own that box, and a really great asset coming to the Sooners from the transfer portal.
Kayla Kiefer building attack for Oklahoma. Crossing back, met by Garcia. Back to the top of the 18. Gia calms it down. Sophomore out of Puyallup, Washington, that missed last year with an injury. She's taken over the starting goalkeeping role for the Crimson Tide. Wes Hart's really liked how she's handled everything her first year as a starter. Yeah,
you know, talking with him, it was just, you know, we need to get her more experience, more game time experience, and man, she had it. You know, that Texas game, just I remember it in my mind. She stood on her head, had just a fantastic game, and you know, she's been really handling the business since she got that starting, you know, goalkeeper position, and she hasn't disappointed.
She's in goal tonight against one of the best offenses in the SEC in Oklahoma. 29 goals on the year for the Sooners, averaging 2.4 per game. Gianna Paul with some space. Tackled from behind and a foul.
Yeah, you could see that coming. Gianna Paul does a really good job, just really dynamic, coming from that left flank and drawing Riley Brown, the defender, with her, and just holding it, and basically enticing Brown to come into her space. Really smart play by Gianna Paul. Could feel that pressure and did a nice job to draw that foul.
Crimson Tide can't take advantage. Kiefer puts it on frame, and it rolls in. Sooners in front, 1-0.
I mean, we talked about Nuggets exploiting the counterattack, and when you have Kayla Kiefer, who's got the wheels, who's got the physicality, who's got that nose for the net, you cannot lose her for 1 minute. And in just 2 passes, right, the Sooners went from their touchline to the other, and that was just remarkable. Alabama's defense just got caught flat-footed. Munguia came out but was not able to take away enough of that angle, and that was just pure individual effort there by Kiefer, and she is pumped. Her team is pumped.
5th goal for her this season, the assist by Lexi Dindis. There will be a video review as Oklahoma takes a 1-0 lead against the Crimson Tide, 9th minute of the match. Corey Rockwell, our lead official, taking a look. All different angles of this play. I imagine one concern would be offside for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and you know, it's difficult because we were just watching, you know, Kiefer just take off, and you know, that ball, it looked like she had a little bit of a step on Alabama's defenders, but it all just happened so quickly. So this is, you know, having this video review and having the capability to go back is fantastic. And so that goal is going to stand after review. Kiefer was able to hold her position, stay on side. Yeah, so this is the Hawkeye view that you're taking a peek at now if you're at home, and they're able to slow it down tremendously and look frame by frame, and that is very clear that Kiefer was on.
Now the Crimson Tide have to respond just barely 10 minutes into this match, already down a goal to Oklahoma. That goal for the Sooners, their 30th of the season.
Well, we talked about it in the open. This is a team that can score, and they did it here, and no bigger of a stage than playing Alabama at home under the lights. What a fantastic start for Oklahoma.
Isabel Smith service into the box off the free kick. Met well by Oklahoma. Back over the halfway line. Oklahoma Sooners scoring first in this match when they've done that. 8 wins, no losses, just 1 draw.
Those stats are pretty convincing. But, you know, if there's one thing I do know is Alabama is pretty lethal at home as well. So, you know, we've got a lot of soccer left in this game, but, man, Oklahoma is dangerous.
OU trying to knock on the door again. Sharp colliding with Morrell.
Yeah, that had to be perfect there by Ula Sharp, and it was great. That was a heads-up play by her.
Let's start to this match.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to be a lot of fireworks tonight, Roger. I didn't expect this to be the way it opened, but, I mean, man, we are in for a treat. These are 2 teams that are really fighting to get the win tonight. And they have similar styles. You know, they're lining up in the same formation. They have some similar strengths in terms of, you know, athletic prowess, you know, some goal scorers, stingy defense, good goalkeeper. So it's going to be a pretty even matchup.
Markin Thomason into the box for Alabama. 1 deflection, still fighting in. Defense by the Sooners. Kukan right side. Knocked down close to the box. Play does continue.
Yeah, close physical play. Michelle Pack, number 7 for the Sooners there. Doing a great job man marking Kylie Kukan, who can be really crafty and hard to track in the box, but number 7 there for the Sooners does a really good job of taking away that opportunity.
Alabama throw in Sharp. Just past Leah Cundy, met by Oklahoma. Sooners on the move next to Juliet Rayo.
Yeah, getting to start tonight. She hasn't had one yet, but she's crafty, had a great season last year as a freshman, so really coming on at the right time in her sophomore year.
Kukan helping Alabama get on the move. Options for Leah Cundy. Cundy tried to go top of the 18. Some options there, and Duffy will let it roll out of play. Oklahoma led by Matt Mott, a very familiar face to a lot of fans who have watched SEC soccer through the years. Had that great run for 13 seasons at Ole Miss, taking the Rebels to 6 NCAA tournaments, and now really building up this program. He was kind of the perfect person to lead a transition for Oklahoma from the Big 12 to the SEC.
Oh, certainly. I like to call it Matt Mott magic, and he's certainly working it there.
Wants his defense to do work on this corner kick for Alabama. Second of the match for the Crimson Tide. First by Alabama, but Duffy ready for the stop. But Matt Mott knew he had a challenge ahead of him when he took over this Oklahoma program that has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2016, and progress has been steady during his time in Norman.
Yeah, certainly. He talked about getting the right players. Well, that's a dangerous ball. If you're Kennedy Garcia, you do not want to hold that ball with Kayla Kiefer there. Dangerous play by Alabama. You know, in talking with Coach Mott, he talked about getting the caliber of players that he would need to succeed in the SEC. And certainly, you know, the Kayla Kiefers, the Naomi Clarks, you know, they are certainly adding to that roster.
2 players came in from the transfer portal. Kiefer played at Ole Miss. Great chance for the Sooners, met well by Crimson Tide defense, and especially Mungia.
That's the stuff you love to see from Mungia. The reaction save between the posts, that was huge. If the Sooners got enough, yeah, if the Sooners had got that one, that would have been just a gut punch for Alabama. So great job by the goalkeeper.
Belcher doing all she can to grab possession. You've kind of seen it, a few dangerous touches here and there for Alabama in the attacking third.
Yeah, certainly, and you know, talking with Coach Mott earlier this week, he had said they were going to steady and take a lot of their practice time in their preparation this week about closing down Alabama's offensive weapons. It's not just Paul, it's all of them. You know, and so they're doing a good job executing that game plan, staying organized and staying compact.
We called Alabama the best attacking team in the SEC. Well in front of Gianna Paul, and that'll be calmed down by Riley Brown. A moment ago, it nearly became a 2-0 match in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, the ball goes in. It's a short pass there to Washington, who leads her team in assists. And Rayo, number 10, who gets the start tonight, was in the right place at the right time, put a good look on frame, but Munguia made this pure reaction save to keep the tide in the game.
She's already had goals against Kentucky and Florida in SEC play. Juliet Rayo, including this season, also had a brace against East Texas A&M. 4 goals for her on the year, nearly got number 5. Sooners once again on the move. Alabama ready for that cross from Washington. Time to go to the bench for the first time as Leah Cundy is in the starting lineup for the first time. She started the year injured for Alabama, slowly worked her way back in the last 3 matches, but Maddie Podolsky will take her spot, which is good for Leah Cundy. We saw her control a lot of possession in these first 15 minutes.
Yeah, she's lethal from the flank, and so it's great to see her back in the lineup. But certainly you've got to, you know, ease into it with game fitness. Podolsky, you know, another really offensive-minded attacking player that will certainly fill that hole that Cundy has left and be a handful for the Sooners back line. 17-year-old spark plug Maddie Podolsky taking it for Leah Cundy. She gets healthier and healthier this season for the Tide. Paul with some space. Physical play continues. Center referee, I think, allowing a little bit of the advantage, but, you know, Kylie Kukan's crawling and trying to get on her feet, so I think that was a missed opportunity there, but not there.
Larkin Thomason will draw the opportunity for the Crimson Tide.
Man, she is so good at what she does. And she also is going to take that PK herself. That ball was bouncing around. And, you know, Larkin Thomason just gets her body in the right place at the right time, initiates contact, draws that. Allie Lacanol, the freshman number 9 there, just, you know, unfortunate for her, but this is a great opportunity for Alabama.
Thomason 2 for 2 on penalty kicks this season. Larkin Thomason ties the match at 1.
I've said it before. Larkin Thomason has ice running through those veins. She draws the PK. She's been working tirelessly, and then she grabs that ball. There's no question who's going to take that kick. It's going to be her, and she's going to bury it. What an excellent take from the spot. Goes high. Duffy guesses the right way, but has no ability to get a hand on it. Man, fantastic. And now we're back, 1-1.
Sixth goal this season. Larkin Thomason, half of her goals off of penalty kicks. She has not missed this year. Transferring into Alabama from Mercer, where she was the SoCon Player of the Year, and she continues climbing up the career rankings in college soccer.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about her production in terms of like minutes played, it's unbelievable. She's a game changer. When she comes in, she makes things happen, and that's why she got to start tonight, and she was able to really turn this for the Tide.
Jenna Paul would like to get involved. Empty touch by Canty for Oklahoma. Kiefer had her jersey pulled. Play continues. Now the whistle.
Yeah, now the whistle. You know, Ula Sharp just getting, you know, overpowered there by Kiefer. Trying to do anything just to keep her close. Gets shown the yellow there. And so again, you can see Ula Sharp just leaning in, and as she goes down, pulls it. You know, easy call there for the referee. But man, Kiefer, what a handful. Just a real handful there for the Alabama back line.
Yellow card on Ula Sharp, first one she's picked up this year. We'll see how the Sooners get creative with this opportunity. Rayo up high. Off the cross, went wide. That was a near opportunity for Oklahoma with Hadley Morrell.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to put the ball back into play, and she did. And if Rayo had just gotten a toe on it, man. So here's the set piece from Rayo. Nice lofted ball. Alabama can't clear it. Bounces around towards the back of the 18. Morrell sends a firecracker in there. And unfortunate for the Sooners, nobody can get a look on it. So good man marking there by Ula Sharp on the back post.
Corner kick by Pack into the box. Kiefer fighting in. More fireworks in this first half.
Yeah, Alabama was able to get out of that one scot-free, but the ball is just kind of bouncing around, and we saw Alabama not handle the business that they needed to against Kentucky. So they've got to get a little bit crisper in that box. You know, make sure that they're clearing it, because these Sooners are hunting and lurking and waiting, and they have proven that they can turn on a dime.
Brown intercepting that pass between Thomason and Paul, working into Alabama's back line. Maddie Podolsky getting involved. First time since she's been in the match, taking over for Leah Cundy.
You almost just want both teams just to take a big deep breath and just settle that ball. You know, both sides are just, you know, putting each other in just such high pressure, and so it's really difficult to get a foot on it, to get your head up and to look. So Alabama and the Sooners, you know, both of them have to kind of settle in and create some of those short passing opportunities just to create some rhythm, because it's been quite disruptive in such a high pace so far. We haven't really seen either team really settle in yet.
in for Olivia Belcher. Lena Rabimba is coming in, and Nadia Ramadan for the Crimson Tide. Ramadan has been absolutely on fire lately for Alabama.
Oh, she has. You know, I'm such a fan of Ramadan. She's a really smart player, really crafty, almost a little sneaky. I mean, you know she's good, but she just puts herself in these really great positions, and you just kind of wonder how she got there. But, yeah, she certainly has brought a lot of spark and made some really great plays for Alabama. And so I think this is a good opportunity for her to really sort of change the game and put her stamp on it.
Back trying to survey her options for Oklahoma. A left-footed strike way out to the left off of Juliet Rayo. Rabembis, the North Carolina transfer, socking it high out to Podolsky left side. Podolsky fighting her way in before the whistle.
Yeah, you see her giving the thumbs up to Rabembis. You know, Podolsky is one of those players that loves to be in isolation. And so she's not going to shy away from that opportunity. Send me a ball over top and let me go touchline.
Duffy already with 3 saves this evening. Some ball back in play to the halfway line. Sharp will try and keep it in play, just can't.
Good tackle there by Mason Smith.
Against Kiefer.
Yeah, a really well-timed. You can't let her, you know, get that ball outside the 18. Side gets tangled up with Riley Brown. You know, it's interesting. What I'm noticing now is Riley Brown is tracking Gianna Paul. So you saw Gianna Paul go from being on that left flank to the right, and look who's there, Riley Brown. So Riley Brown has that tall task of trying to stick to Gianna Paul, and you can see her there trying to make her uncomfortable, letting her know that I'm still with you.
Double team left side. Is possessed by Dindis.
Next week, we'll have another Thursday night women's soccer doubleheader. It'll be 10th-ranked South Carolina hosting Texas at the Graveyard. Stone Stadium at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Then 5th-ranked Tennessee taking on one of the teams you're watching tonight, Oklahoma. Both are right here on the SEC Network and the all-new ESPN app.
Great job again by Riley Brown. Really working Gianna Paul. And look at this run from the Sooners.
Naomi Clark just checked in top of the 18, just as Alabama takes some possession away and really slow down that attack by Oklahoma.
Yeah, Kayla Kiefer finally is getting a little bit of a rest, and then no rest for Alabama's back line with Naomi Clark entering the mix.
She leads Oklahoma with 7 goals, 17 points, also shots on goal, game-winning goals. Again, she is really somebody who does it all.
Oh, for sure. We were hoping that we would be able to see her in the game tonight. So definitely a strategic move here by Coach Mott. Let Kiefer run and get Alabama's defense a little tired, and then sneak in Naomi Clark and see what she can do in the last 15 minutes or so.
Kiefer already scoring for Oklahoma. Crimson Tide able to answer with Larkin Thomason on a penalty kick. Alabama try to go out in front. Dangerous opportunity. Kukan rolls it back. Thomason, good touch Oklahoma to take away that chance for the tie.
Yeah, it was a great job by the Sooners, but Alabama doing such a good job to keep that ball alive. Just real unfortunate that they couldn't get that ball to drop nice in the 6-yard box.
Nadia Ramadan turning this around for Alabama. Close call, Alabama.
Oh yeah, we'll take another look. It was a great little chip coming from Rabimbis. Sooners got a head on it, and Kylie Kukan was tracking, putting a lot of pressure on that back line. And then Larkin Thomason thought she might be able to get a brace tonight, but Sooners break it up.
Belcher to Paul. Paul moves it high. Still in play, and then out of play finally near the corner.
I see Gianna Paul hands her ahead. You know, she's just thinking, man, I want that back. But, you know, Alabama's just got to keep feeding those wide channels. They do so well when they get to those wide flanks and they're able to get service in.
Podolski having to work so hard against Indus. Ramadan with a lot of space.
Belcher, the freshman, converted midfielder, okay, to playing with Alabama's back line. Gives you a really different look. She's able to get in and join the attack. Much more sort of technical, playing with the feet. But yeah, she certainly is not one to shy away from contact either. So she's been grinding away, making some big plays for Alabama.
Tangling up with Melina Rabimbis. Warren getting her first minutes of the match. Originally born in Belgium, has played for the Irish national team, helping Ireland to the U19 Euro Finals. Now calls England home, in addition to her time in Norman, Oklahoma. Great work by El Canty against Kylie Kukan. Here comes Oklahoma. Adley Morrell right side. Right to Munguia.
Yeah, good hands by Munguia, but going back to El Canty, freshman that's just been playing some great minutes. Really brave on the ball, has made some really well-timed tackles. Again, not afraid to initiate contact. This time, Larkin Thomason's called, not called. Here we see it against the Sooners on Kukan, who, again, has just been, you know, Kukan, a workhorse in there, taking a lot of hits, trying to make something happen for Alabama.
high and just over the bar as the Sooners really applying the pressure. That time from Hadley Morrell. Good start for Oklahoma in the 9th minute. Kayla Kiefer scoring in the run of play, nearly offside for the Sooners, but the goal counted. Then Larkin Thomason fouled in the box, picked up her 3rd penalty kick of the season to tie the match at 1.
We've had a lot of excitement early on. And, you know, both teams are just playing like their hair's on fire. And so, I mean, I don't think we're going to see anything stopping anytime soon.
Mentioned it was a good start for Oklahoma. Dindis sending it to Kayla Kiefer, picking up that goal for Oklahoma, her 5th of the year.
And then we see Larkin Thomason going the other way, initiating contact, just does such a good job, and then able to convert that PK, and we're all tied at 1.
Really, since then, a battle for possession. Still aren't seeing that many shots in this match. Just 4 for Oklahoma, just 5 for Alabama. Both teams with 3 shots on goal.
Yeah, both teams are really battling in the midfield, and if they are able to get into the offensive third, you know, they're being stopped by that 4, that back line. So Alabama's playing a back 4, so is Oklahoma, and it's been stingy and physical, fast-paced, but as you mentioned, Roger, no one's really able to break through.
Throw-in targeted Gianna Paul, but nowhere for her to go.
No, you saw how many Sooner jerseys just converged on her. I think I counted 4 at one time. I mean, they've definitely read the scouting report.
There's Nadia Ramadan. Nadia left foot, out to the left.
You know, we talked with Coach Mott about, you know, what he thinks this game is going to be, and it's really about capitalizing on the opportunities that you have, because you may not have many. And so I bring this up because Nadia Ramadan went to goal, was able to create some space for her, just not able to get the accuracy off with her shot. But, you know, I think both teams, we've seen limited opportunities at goal, and when you've got to look at goal, you've got to make it count.
Off her line, Mungia, dangerous spot, and that will go just over the goal, but Oklahoma was ready to strike with Claire Curran.
And that was a brave challenge there from Curran and a brave play by Mungia, but look at who got the assist, or the almost assist in there, Washington. She's just really, really good at picking her head up and finding a player on the run, beautifully lofted, and forced Mungia to make a decision about coming out.
For the Sooners, moving them forward. Naomi Clark, partially deflected. That will lead to a corner.
Yeah, Alabama had, you know, 3 and 4 defenders there, just trying to hold that line at the top of the 18. And Clark just being super crafty and clever, just trying to do something to create some space. Ultimately, it went off the bottom of the boot of Ramadan.
Sophie Morin with the service on this Oklahoma corner kick. And out of play by Morrell.
And the Sooners Sooners have some, you know, nice tall targets there. You saw, I think Dendis or Morrell getting, you know, shoulders above Alabama, and Alabama was vulnerable on corner kicks against Kentucky, so they've got to find a way to body up.
Now long in front of Gianna Paul. Duffy kicks it away off her line, with Paul crashing in on her.
Yeah, another sort of similar ball from what we saw with Washington. Here we see Rabimbis playing it over the top for Paul. Paul wants to run onto that ball. It's almost like taunting the goalkeeper. Let's see what you're going to do. You're going to come out. You know, Duffy's got some really good experience, very active, not afraid to come out. That was the right play.
McDonald to Podolski. Top of the box. Podolski puts it on frame. There's Duffy.
Yeah, not a bad look from Podolski, but difficult. You know, the Sooners are doing a good job of collapsing with numbers behind and really taking up space in that 18. Really, all Podolski had was, you know, hanging around the edge of the 18 and trying to get a good shot off, but, you know, Duffy was well prepared to track that ball.
Sooners prepared here. Marin for the solid touch by Garcia helps turn this the other way for Alabama. Empty passes Alabama. Maddie Podolski gets deflected.
And what a great effort from Alabama. Wow, Gianna Paul doing such a good job with her back to goal. Looked very similar of what we would see from Larkin Thomason, but back heel to Kukan, to Paul, and then Podolski just not able to get a good look on goal because number 42, Riley Brown there, again, closing down Alabama's offensive targets. Man, what a great combination, though.
Final 4 minutes of the first half. Rabimbis with space. Rabimbis too high. Started her career at North Carolina for Caroline Duffy, the keeper for the Sooners. She started her career at rival Duke. Now battling here in the SEC as we start the month of October. Gianna Paul. Empty touch. For Rabimbis, loses possession.
Alabama did a better job of tracking back quickly, preventing the Sooners from having that quick counterattack.
Solid work by Alexis Washington.
Yeah, and a very timely tackle by Kirsten McDonald. I mean, Washington, you just watch her, and she moves so effortlessly. If McDonald did not time that perfectly, that would have been a great opportunity for Washington and the Sooners.
Washington, the all-time assist leader at Oklahoma, now 22 in her career. Dendis with the service on the corner kick. Oklahoma corner kick. 2 touches Alabama, now outside the box.
Cleaner there by Alabama. They've got to be able to either hold this, you know, 1-1 draw going into the halftime, or, you know, can they get ahead going into half?
Washington trying to move it back to the center, but right there, Maddie Munguia to calm everything down.
Big tackle there by Nadi Ramadan. And the official, Corey Rockwell, found himself in the middle of that play again. And so it's going to be drop ball to resume play.
Final minute of play in this first half. All tied at 1, Alabama and Oklahoma. Last chance for the Sooners to get organized. Into Naomi Clark. Final seconds tick down in the first half. Alabama and Oklahoma. Entertainment so far in this first 45 in Tuscaloosa.
I mean, these are two teams that are just leaving it all on the field, so we are in for a treat with the second half.
All tied at 1 between Alabama and Oklahoma. Roger Hoover, Haley McDonald now pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Wes Hart. Coach, what'd you see in the first 45 minutes from Alabama?
Yeah, kind of a lot what I expected. You know, we knew it was going to be a tough game. Oklahoma's got some good athletes, you know, very good in attack. You know, they're direct. They put balls behind you and cause problems. So, but overall, I thought we did a good job of, you know, connecting passes and building in our attack. And, you know, I think we'll continue to create chances this next half.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
It's Wes Hart, the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. His team certainly in a fight against Oklahoma. Sooners trying to bounce out of a 2-game losing streak. Meanwhile, the Crimson Tide had all those... Kiefer and Thomason, the goal scorers so far in this match here in Tuscaloosa. Wes Hart watching on, ready to go for this second half. Matt Mott doing some final coaching for the Sooners. He's back in Tuscaloosa after leading Ole Miss here for parts of 13 seasons as the Rebels head coach. Now back wearing the crimson and cream of Oklahoma.
Well, you know, the SEC play, you know, Coach Mott mentioned it the other day, there are just no easy games. Every game, it's a dogfight. You're grinding it out. You're trying to come out on top. And so, I mean, his team has shown up to play in Tuscaloosa tonight, and Alabama certainly wants to come out on top. These points are so important to come out with them this weekend.
Oklahoma 1-3 so far in SEC play. Meanwhile, the Crimson Tide 2-2. Tough results last 2 times out against 2 really good teams in Vanderbilt and South Carolina for Oklahoma. Meanwhile, for the Crimson Tide, just a showing that this team is different than the one we saw a year ago in 2024.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, you know, you mentioned it, 2 top-ranked opponents for the Sooners. They both were in those games. You know, it wasn't a blowout. You know, they just didn't capitalize on their opportunities. And then here with Alabama, you know, they just have to find a way to win and grind out those games.
Starting with a loss against Kentucky, picked up an impressive win against Florida and then shut out in back-to-back matches. So that's also why that early goal by Kiefer, such a momentum boost for the Sooners tonight.
And an emphasis on protecting their goal, right? You know, they gave up multiple goals against Vanderbilt, against South Carolina. Trying to take better care of that 18-yard box was certainly an emphasis for Coach Mott.
Now ready for the second half between Alabama and Oklahoma.
I'm not sure if I'm ready, Roger. That was a very intense matchup. So, I mean, I'm super excited and also on the edge of my seat to see what's going to happen in the second half.
Crimson Tide, the white kits, Oklahoma in the road gray. Do you expect a pretty frenzied first 5 minutes here?
I do. I think both teams are going to just try to do whatever they can to find an inch.
There's Podolski already inching into the box for the Crimson Tide. Redirected back in, just past Thomason. Lula Sharp right side. Off the cross, just past Paul, and there's the stop by Duffy. Contact on Paul in the box.
There certainly was, and I will be interested to see if Corey Rockwell is going to take a look. You see a great ball in from Ula Sharp. You see a lot of contact there against Gianna Paul. You know, obviously Corey Rockwell was in a good position to see, but man, I'm not sure about that one.
Crimson Tide fans will remember that as a potential missed opportunity here in the first minute of this second half.
But, you know, in thinking about the Nuggets from earlier in the game, you know, getting to that touchline, getting quality service from the flank is so important for Alabama. We just saw it almost set Gianna Paul up with a good look at goal. There's Kiefer again, showcasing her speed after having a rest towards the end of that first half. If you're Alabama's back line and if you've got Maddie Munguia, you've always got to keep your head on a swivel and see where she is. She's very fast, you know, kind of like Gianna Paul. You know, her first couple of steps, she can cover a lot of ground very quickly.
Bimbis in the midfield, getting the Crimson Tide moving. Quickly dispossessed. El Canty once again with some energy for Oklahoma. Now speaking of energy, here comes Washington. Belcher with a takeaway.
Yeah, two freshmen just really stepping up and making well-timed tackles that were, you know, pivotal in shifting that momentum.
Olivia Belcher, the freshman from Colleyville, Texas, again seeing more opportunities as we continue moving along. West Hart really likes some of the work she's able to do 1v1 especially.
You know, we talked about it before too, you know, traditionally a center mid, but been playing that outside defense position just because she gives such a different look, the ability to play out of the back, you know, join the attack and that passing capability. So, you know, Coach Hart is really enthusiastic and just wants her on the pitch.
Washington against Garcia. Excuse me, that's Rayo. Rayo trying to cross it in, but right there at the line, Maddie Munguia, Crimson Tide keeper. Brown throw in into that Oklahoma attacking third. Thomason tried to go to Paul right there. Riley Brown covered probably the most ground of anybody this match for Oklahoma.
Oh, and she has been sticking to Gianna Paul just like glue. Like I mentioned in the first half, it's clear that she has an assignment for this game, and it is to make Gianna Paul's life really, really difficult. And so far, you know, she's been mostly successful in that regard. So if I'm Alabama, I've got to be thinking, if Paul is having and attracting all this attention, there's got to be others. And, you know, Coach Mott had mentioned that's a real worry.
Washington, Belcher, there's Maddie Munguia as well to bring that attack to an end.
Yeah, that was a potentially very dangerous opportunity for the Sooners, and Alabama able to rely on Belcher and Munguia.
Nancy trying to create another opportunity. Burrell right side. Bends it back to Munguia.
Just a moment ago, we saw a ball played into the middle, finding Washington streaking. You know, a heads-up play by Olivia Belcher to track her back, and then Munguia doing a good job anticipating and coming off and really squashing that potential opportunity.
7 saves against Texas. Did allow 3 goals in that match, but so far tonight, only allowing that 1 goal 9 minutes in, but been aggressive off her line at times this evening and is just playing with so much poise.
Yeah, and you know, that goal that Kiefer got, you could see clearly that Munguia got a hand on it. She got a glove on it. Just, you know, angle was a little bit off and wasn't able to stifle it. But yeah, she comes off that line with a lot of conviction. I think that is really, you know, key to her success. You've got to make sure you commit.
Kiefer. Kayla Kiefer out to the right. And an option with Washington at the top of the box. Kiefer's going to stay aggressive, though, for Oklahoma.
Yeah, she certainly is. And again, just like Paul, she's drawing a lot of attention. I think you saw 3 Alabama jerseys converge. They learned from the first half. You know, can't give her an inch.
Washington working it back for OU. Rayo. Nowhere for Washington to go that time.
Yeah, Rayo and Washington have been playing really nice together, able to really help each other out, giving some good small passing angles. Good anticipation there from Allie Lacknell, the freshman defender, not falling for Larkin Thomason's move there. You know, anticipates well, able to get the ball cleanly.
Really feels like we're back to a similar rhythm we saw maybe the last 20 minutes of that first half.
Yeah, I think both teams have grown into the game a little bit. Certainly there's a bit of fatigue, but you know, the first 5 minutes felt a little chaotic again, but both teams again are sort of falling into place, feeling each other out.
Larkin Thomason. Solid defense by the Sooners.
I think that was Alcanti, the freshman that we've been talking about. Really poised, great composure, staying calm.
Lena Bimbis. High shot, punched away, Caroline Duffy.
What a big save. What a big save. You know, Rabimbis loves that ball. She loves to take that little step back and try to get that look on net just right underneath the top of the crossbar. And she was almost successful, but Duffy's got great size, a great shot stopper, lots of good experience, able to just get her fingertips on that and push it up above the bar.
So good in the air, Caroline Duffy. This will lead to a corner kick for Alabama. Bimbis, after that rocket, will have the service.
Alabama corner kick. To the left side, chased down by Mason Smith. Podolsky trying to work back in, but the takeaway by Dendis.
Yeah, super clean play there. Podolsky is so fast and crafty that you just kind of wonder if she's going to be able to get through it all.
Here's our Week 6 SEC Network Saturday football lineup. It's number 12, Georgia, hosting Kentucky at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. And we'll have the Skycast version, the whole game from just above the field. And then it's 5th-ranked Oklahoma hosting Kent State in Norman as we cap the day with number 6, Texas A&M hosting Mississippi State at Kyle Field. All three also available on the all-new ESPN app. Long run for Washington, tried to keep it in play for Oklahoma.
And that work paid off. It looks like they're going to be able to take that corner kick or at least a deep throw.
It will be a corner kick. Lexi Dendis, Conference USA Freshman of the Year last year at Middle Tennessee. Now finding it home in Oklahoma. Knocked first by Alabama's Kukan, setting up another corner. Goals for Dendis with the Blue Raiders, scored in their first match with Oklahoma. Already 3 goals on the year for Lexi Dendis. Another corner kick opportunity. Headed, and that works its way to the back of the net. Sooners in front in Tuscaloosa.
And that was the freshman, Allie Lacanol. Man, what a great target, great size, 5'10", in the right place at the right time. And Alabama, again, not staying organized or composed on those corner kicks. We saw something like this against Kentucky. Great service from Dendis. And in through the traffic, you can see Lacanol just shoulders above. Mungia gets hands on it, but again, unable to redirect that ball out of there. It was a well-paced ball coming into the 18-yard box, and all Lacanol had to do was just redirect it. Great job by the Sooners.
First collegiate goal for Allie Lacanol, the freshman out of Woodinville, Texas. She was the season's first SEC Freshman of the Week in Week 1, really known for her defense in that win for the Sooners against in-state rival Oklahoma State. Now her first goal coming on the road in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. 2 assists tonight as well by Lexi Dendis.
Yeah, she had a great freshman campaign at Middle Tennessee State, and she's carried that here to the Sooners. Not playing like a sophomore, that's for sure.
Inside looking for a response. Morin getting tangled up with Lena Rabimbis.
Yeah, we'll take another look here. It was a great ball from Ula Sharp just to feed Rabimbis. Rabimbis trying to get around, and a perfectly timed tackle there by Morin. Off the feet of Rabimbis, and a goal kick for the Sooners. Physical play there in the middle of the pitch. I think that was Michelle Pack going up against Kylie Kukan. Pack has just been super consistent for Oklahoma tonight. Number 7, just winning balls, distributing really well, nice crisp passes.
Second time Alabama's trailed in the match. OU held its initial 1-0 lead for 10 minutes for a penalty setup and penalty kick. That was an equalizer at the time by Larkin Thomason. What's the response got to be for Alabama in this spot?
I think Alabama's done a good job of combining play. They've got to clean it up in the middle, but they've got to get forward, and when they do have a look at goal, they have to be able to finish. So it's got to be good quality opportunities. You're not going to get a ton of opportunities. You know, this is a pretty stingy defense, and they are playing fired up. So Alabama's got to capitalize when they've got a look.
Attacking third throw-in coming up for Alabama. Belcher off to the running start. Between Thomason and Paul, met by OU. Ramadan tried to keep it for the Tide. Backs up to the circle. Gianna Paul. Oklahoma's really limited her opportunities. She pins it back to the center. Paul, no shots on the night for Alabama's top scoring threat. Belcher being physical against Washington, finds Podolsky. Buchanan tripped up, and there's the whistle. Belcher high, Duffy. Watch that go just wide. Alabama had Ula Sharp crashing in, though, in case there was any deflection.
Yeah, that was a really nice ball. Ula Sharp just so close on it. But, you know, leading up to that, I was just watching the Sooners. They've been so patient in their defense, and they've really limited Alabama's ability to get to the touchline. So Alabama then has to look for that big lofted ball to try to find a runner on the back post. Alabama's got to find a way to penetrate that back line and get to the touchline, get good service in. But the Sooners are they're doing a really good job. They're not biting. You know, as fast as Podolsky's feet are moving, they're staying really composed and keeping Alabama on the outskirts.
The student section on Crimson Chaos Night. Students have been loud, rowdy, even from the opening warm-ups into this match. Right now they're hoping the Crimson Tide will find an equalizing goal. Wearing the scarves, beating the drums, making noise with the vuvuzelas. Quite a scene here at the Alabama Soccer Stadium.
They don't need an excuse to be loud, but I know that they will get even louder if Alabama was able to tie this one up.
Throw in Ula Sharp. Kunde back in the match for Melina Rabimbis for the Crimson Tide. Kunde, a veteran. Now she's in control. Gianna Paul through traffic, more contact on Paul. Second time we've seen that in the second half.
Wow. Wow is all I have to say. And I mean, you can hear how unhappy the fans and the coaches are. You know, Paul has initiated contact in that box a couple of times now, and when we look at this replay here, she turns the corner, and initiates contact. But, you know, now that I see it slow down, I think it's a really good tackle.
Very physical by Riley Brown. Crimson Tide quickly trying to get another opportunity. Podolsky moving the Tide forward. There is Paul.
I mean, both teams we knew were going to be extremely physical tonight. It was going to be one of those matches where you got to grind it out.
Sharp on the move. Watch Thomason. Trying to keep it in, and there's Duffy.
Unable to do it, though. You can see Ula Sharp happy that she was able to get that touch. Earns her team a corner kick. Alabama hasn't been particularly dangerous on their corner kicks, their set pieces.
Good time to bring in Nadia Ramadan, has notched a point in 5 of the last 6 matches for the Crimson Tide. Right now, Alabama with just under 25 minutes to find an equalizing goal.
Yeah, and if Ramadan is taking it from the corner, she has an awesome in-swinger.
It's going to be Paige Thompson for Alabama. Corner kick, Crimson Tide. Knocked first by Oklahoma. Cundy trying to redirect along with Garcia. Battle of the headers. Cundy. Tripped up by Morin.
I mean, the Sooners defense are doing an excellent job of timing their tackles very, very well. I mean, they're hard physical plays, but they are just doing a really good job of finding that right time and connecting.
Welcome back to the match, Naomi Clark. Quickly getting involved for OU. Booms it high, just past Kiefer.
We just talked about the Sooners defense making really clutch plays. Nothing was probably more clutch than that play by Ula Sharp. Great service from Naomi Clark, just so fast. Alabama's just got to, you know, keep working it, keep moving the ball, keep combining, keep pressing and playing, and try not to get frustrated.
Podolsky coming in for the right side. Tried to set up a corner.
Unlucky there, and again, Riley Brown, number 42 for the Sooners, a senior, transfer from Washington, has just been so good and consistent this game. Not falling for any of the quick feet and the movements, just being really consistent, winning those individual battles all over the pitch, and she did it there with Maddie Podolsky.
State champion in Arizona for track and field. No surprise with all the ground she has covered, defending at a high level against Alabama.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very athletic.
Just past the midway point of the second half. Sooners in front 2-1.
A bit of careless passing there by Alabama. You know, just moments ago I was watching and I could see this big green gap. I think Alabama is just taking one too many touches, not moving the ball quick enough to really take advantage of some of the gaps that the Sooners are giving them. They're allowing the Sooners to get back into position and really make it difficult to find those seams. And then on top of that, you know, errant passes, they've really just got to take care of that ball a little bit better.
Free kick for Alabama after the foul by Morin. Kennedy Garcia. Belcher through some contacts. Double team, lost control of the ball before another whistle.
Yeah, you were wondering, Corey Rockwell, maybe trying to play the advantage there, but, Belcher was down on her knees. It was a tricky pass coming in for Garcia, enticing that Sooner back line to step forward. Belcher does a good job to keep it, but lots and lots of contact, lots of fouls here.
Opportunity for the Tide. Deflected out. And it will be Oklahoma with a goal kick instead of a corner kick.
Yeah, and that's just the ball not bouncing your way. That just took a really unfortunate deflection off of Leah Cundy. Did a good job to try to penetrate and get to that touch line, but in the end, a Sooners goal kick.
Less than 20 minutes to work with for Alabama, trying to find an equalizer at home. Crimson Tide have only lost once so far this season at home. That was against 17th ranked South Carolina, but a 5-1 mark in Tuscaloosa this year. Won 40 the last 50 overall. When Alabama started to really make a move up in the SEC, it was certainly some home field advantage that played a huge role in that, especially going back to 2021, 2022.
Yeah, there was nothing like watching Alabama play at home. It was electric. And they've been able to maintain that for a long time.
2-1 in favor of Oklahoma. Here's how we got there in this match. Kayla Kiefer got it going in the 9th minute with that goal. A penalty kick set up Larkin Thomason, tied the game at 1 10 minutes later. And then in the 58th minute, a corner kick. Allie Lacanol, perfect time for her first collegiate goal. That made it 2-1 in favor of Oklahoma. 12 minutes since then, Alabama has not had an equalizer. Sooners trying to pick up their first win on the road in SEC play this year. Only one victory away from home for Matt Mott and Oklahoma this year.
Oh, we've seen this before. Caroline Duffy, the goalkeeper, coming up to join the attack. She's got a great foot, big service into the box.
Just shy of the 18.
Well, that was not a well-taken kick for Caroline Duffy, and she's got to track back really quickly. Can Alabama put some pressure on her now?
Thomason with some steam for the Crimson Tide, but right there, takeaway by Oklahoma. Read that extremely well. Garcia being physical. There's the foul. Right up against Sophie Morin. Willis Sharp's got to be careful.
This is a really it feels chaotic, a little nervy. This back and forth is just, it's very evenly paced for both sides, but again, we're kind of back to that initial play where it doesn't feel like any team has sort of settled into this game.
Larkin Thomason heading to the bench for the Crimson Tide as the only goal for Alabama this evening, and it was off of a penalty kick in the 19th minute. Allie Brewer taking her spot, and Melina Rabimbis also coming back in for Leah Cundy.
Yeah, I think Larkin Thomason is going to be just taking a quick breather. I think they're going to look to get her back in as soon as they can.
Oklahoma with Munguia off the line. Trying to sneak something past the Crimson Tide back line.
can see the look on Ula Sharp's face. Got another look at it here. So Ula Sharp sliding into the ball. I'm not exactly sure what the foul was there. But certainly a lot of physical play tonight. This has been, you know, one of the main storylines throughout.
Off the free kick, met first by Alabama's Paige Thompson. Kukan fighting for possession. And she'll have it. Kylie Kukan, the sophomore. Rayo getting the Sooners on the move. Lexi Dindis finding Rayo right side. And far to the left. Clark with a takeaway. Naomi Clark puts it on. Mungia with the stop, but that's an example of how dangerous Naomi Clark can be.
You know, and that's the second time I've been watching the Alabama players. You know, Kylie Kukan on that left flank, and then here we saw Belcher, and then Callie Brewer. They're looking like they don't have options off the ball, and so Alabama's got to start moving and giving some of those options, because this is what will happen. You know, Naomi Clark is so crafty, so smart. She's tracking and watching and anticipating, and if Alabama doesn't start initiating movement earlier, they're going to find themselves in a sticky situation a lot of times all over the field.
Here's McDonald in for the Crimson Tide. Taking the spot of Olivia Belcher, has been busy this evening. Takeaway by Dindis right up against Isabel Smith. And the physical play all the way down the pitch.
Yeah, certainly.
Yellow card.
And that's going to get shown to Izzy Smith for Alabama. But, you know, we saw a hard physical tackle. Callie Brewer on Naomi Clark just before that. Good battle. And I think it was that outstretched arm from Isabel Smith. Once Dindis got past, you know, Corey Rockwell is allowing some play, but certainly not when he sees a jersey pull.
Second yellow card on Isabel Smith this season. Once again, Duffy out to take the kick. More distance this time. Sharp against Dindis. That was more you were expecting from her first kick, right?
Yeah, certainly. I was certainly expecting a lot more underneath it, and it was a combination of being a short kick and then definitely not on target. It was, you know, hanging up on the outside of the 18, and that's a little nervy for a goalkeeper to not execute and have to run all the way back.
Kayla Kiefer back in. She scored tonight. Also, Larkin Thomason also back in. But Gianna Paul on the bench for the Crimson Tide. Alabama needing an equalizer in these final 13 minutes.
Yeah, you wonder for Corey Rockwell, you know, the accumulation of physical play from the Sooners, if there's going to be any showing of a card there.
Washington, great run for Oklahoma. Gets past Ramadan. Good touch, top of the 18, Callie Brewer.
Yeah, fortunate for Alabama, they were able to break that up. But, I mean, Washington and Kiefer combining really well on the outside.
That's Gianna Paul with her shin guard down on her right leg. Did have some tough knocks in the box, 2 times in the penalty box. Being roughed up a little bit, was limping then. Oklahoma's limited her this evening. No shots for Gianna Paul. Alabama's top scoring threat with 7 goals, 19 points this season.
Yeah, she certainly, you know, several of the Sooners players, particularly Riley Brown, have just, you know, been wearing her. They have just not left her alone at all, and so she's definitely taken some hard knocks.
Alabama starts moving, 11 minutes to work with, trailing 2-1. Bimbist, Garcia, through traffic. Ramadan, too high.
And it looks like Garcia's been up near the top of the 18 the last couple of plays. She's originally a forward that was converted to the back, playing on that back line. But, you know, with Paul out, I think Alabama has sprung her to get forward, join the attack, and try to make something happen.
Keep an eye out for Kennedy Garcia as Alabama looks for a goal to tie this match. Crimson Tide have been hit hard by injuries so far this season, especially Ashley Roney, forward, who looked to be off to a great start in the first 2 or 3 matches of the year, went down with injury, and that really changed things for Alabama's attack, along with losing a talented defender in Avery Brown.
Yeah, certainly, and that's when, you know, Kennedy Garcia, you know, more or less got sprung to that back line. She's done a great job, but, you know, we were used to seeing her last year in that forward position. But let's see if she can make something happen. She's super aggressive up top.
Yeah, 2 players Alabama really wishes were part of the attack this season, Avery Brown and Ashley Roney, as both of them had to miss time a year ago with ACL injuries, and unfortunately it happens again here this season. Sooners will have a corner kick. Scored the go-ahead goal off of a corner kick earlier with Allie Lacanol. Here's this service, just past Lacanol, right to the Crimson Tide keeper, Maddie Munguia.
Yeah, Munguia did a good job that time to anticipate it. You know, because Sooners were looking for another repeat there. They've got great size. They were able to connect and convert.
Trying to gain control.
Oh, Riley Brown, so good for the Sooners.
Crimson Tide just 1 goal this evening. That was off of a penalty kick in the first half of play, but there have been plenty of missed chances for Alabama against Oklahoma.
Yeah, we can see Ramadan just wide there, not getting a good look. And then one of the best chances of the game, the shot by Rabimbis. Great save by Duffy. And then, you know, the back post run by Ula Sharp, just inches away, and Alabama's been knocking at that door, trying to get that service in from the flank, but just haven't been able to convert. And I said this earlier, and I'll reiterate, you know, Coach Mott, he said, this game is going to be decided by the team that can actually capitalize on the opportunities. And so far, Oklahoma has been the team to do that.
pick up his second SEC win tonight. Beat the Florida Gators earlier this season, but it would be a statement win if Oklahoma can come to Tuscaloosa. Again, 40 of the last 50 home matches Alabama's won. This is another sign of progress for this Oklahoma program under Matt Mott, if they can hold on these final 7 minutes and get a result. Dangerous there for Larkin Thomason in the box, deflected back and smothered by Duffy.
Yeah, Duffy's gonna, make no mistake, take no chances there. But I'm liking this combination play a little bit between Ramadan, Kukan, and Larkin. If there's two players that might be able to get onto the end of one of those bouncing balls and make something happen, it's going to be Ramadan or Larkin Thomason.
Really has to be right now without Gianna Paul on the field.
Yeah, good point, Roger. Alabama's looking for somebody to put this on their shoulders and get them back even 2-2.
Gianna Paul, most shots in the league. Again, the 19.7 goals, 5 assists, but limited this evening, no shots, and that's very rare to see for her in an SEC match.
100%. But talking with Coach Mott earlier this week, he talked about the great emphasis that he was, spending time with his team, and what was, training emphasis was really just making sure that they could shore up their back line, handle the really strong offensive.
Oklahoma with a 3-1 lead.
Oh, that's gotta hurt if you're Alabama.
Kiefer and company make it happen again for the Sooners.
I think everybody's in a little bit of disbelief in terms of how that happened. We're gonna get another look here. Oh yeah, just super unfortunate. It went off her knee, and that was all the redirect that it took. Kiefer just trying to get that ball played across the face of goal. If you're Oklahoma, you'll take it any way you can get it, but the look on Mungia's face says it all. That is just a really tough bounce for Alabama.
Especially here in the 85th minute, Alabama was already scrambling to try and find a way to get an equalizer, now down 2.
We say it all the time, soccer can be a very, very cruel game. And tonight it has not been kind to Alabama.
Final 5 minutes of play at the Alabama Soccer Stadium. 2-goal advantage for Oklahoma. Kayla Kiefer heads out again, was applying the pressure on Callie Brewer. Oklahoma enjoying this trip to Tuscaloosa.
What a great response by Oklahoma, coming off that tough 2-game losing streak. To come here and do this to a really strong Alabama team is certainly showing your coach and the rest of the SEC that you are here to hang for the second half of SEC play.
And the Sooners blanked in back-to-back matches against Vanderbilt and South Carolina, but putting up 3 goals tonight against the Crimson Tide on the road. Matt Mott looking to get a great win on the road in SEC play to try and gain some momentum for Oklahoma. They'll be home against Texas A&M, which could be a winnable match on Sunday. The Aggies off to an 0-4 start in the league. Oklahoma hasn't been to the NCAA tournament since 2016. A win tonight would take a huge step forward towards the field of 64.
Certainly, Coach Mott felt like they were on the bubble in every respect of the word for the SEC tournament, potentially for the NCAA tournament. And so getting points this weekend was, you know, of utmost importance. And they are certainly doing their job tonight in trying to get on the edge of that bubble on the inside.
3.5 minutes to go. Crimson Tide trying to take advantage of a corner kick rolled in by Ramadan, connecting with Thomason. Kukan puts it on target just a bit to the right. That was a good look for Kylie Kukan.
Man, one of the better looks for Alabama, at least from where we're sitting. That looked to be mighty close. Ramadan was just trying to make something happen, found Kukan at the top of the 18. But this is sort of, you know, how Alabama's night has gone. You know, decent looks at goal, but unable to get it on frame and unable to convert some of their really good opportunities.
All the goals we've seen tonight. Kayla Kiefer got it going in the 9th minute. Crimson Tide answered 10 minutes later with Larkin Thomason, and then all even at halftime, but in the second half. Lacanel scoring off the corner kick, and then Oklahoma adding one more goal thanks to the own goal by Alabama. Naomi Clark would like to add one more. Naomi Clark will go high, but it's just an example of why she's been leading the Sooners offensively this season with runs like that.
No, she was streaking down the side here. You see Callie Brewer trying to recover. If she had picked her head up, she would have seen her player, her fellow teammate, tracking just around that 18. But I think she was hungry to try to get a goal for herself tonight.
Belsky trying to build an opportunity for Alabama. Long range, punched away. Caroline Duffy. Give Caroline Duffy some credit tonight. Has only allowed the one goal, but it was not in the run of play. It was off of a penalty kick against one of the better offenses in the SEC. She's been brilliant.
She certainly has, and that was a great look by Maddie Podolsky. But again, Duffy just getting a hand on it and just showing her command between the posts, able to pump that up and over the crossbar.
So Ahmad called her steady as can be in that goalkeeper position. Corner kick for the Tide. Stopped by guess who? Caroline Duffy.
And we've got a bit of collision. I think that's Melina Rabimbis on the ground there colliding with Duffy. But as you mentioned, yeah, Duffy has just been outstanding between the posts and then commanding that 6-yard and the 18-yard box. And this, again, was a point of emphasis. I had started to talk about it just before the own goal for Alabama, but, you know, defense and cleaning up the 18 and taking care of it, not allowing the multiple goals was a great emphasis of the Sooners in training this week, and you can really see that that is translated here. They've limited the shots on net, they've really taken care of their own goal, and they've been able to convert on the opposite end.
Good to see Duffy and Rabimbis return to their feet for this final minute of play. Entertaining physical match between Alabama and Oklahoma.
But it's the Sooners, all smiles in Tuscaloosa, picking up a 3-1 victory against Alabama. Tough shutouts for the Sooners leading into this one against Vanderbilt and South Carolina, but this result, especially on the road, feels good.
Oh, it feels great. I mean, this weekend was sort of do or die for the Sooners. They needed to get some points, and what a great way to start the weekend with 3 in Alabama.
Meanwhile, the Crimson Tide fall for the second time at home this season, also fell to South Carolina in SEC play, but a tough result for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, definitely a tough start to the weekend, but they're going to have to, bounce back and really have a good showing against Missouri on Sunday.